I think it was last Sunday, or maybe it was the Sunday before. It was a sunny afternoon, sunny Sunday, and I sat down on the bench with your book and a nice cup of tea, and I read the intro, and it was just so beautiful. Like I really loved the bit which hit home to me most was the idea that nowadays we're missing something. Like, you know, historically, food, building shelter, and procreating, that took up most of someone's life.
Like
that was
procreating's up there with food and shelter. Nice.
Well,
I like your weight. They're well weighed.
those were like, because you needed somewhere to live and you needed something to eat, and then you were hopefully going to pass on your genetic code. That was the kind of idea of life. Whereas nowadays, like, and it was you wrote it so beautifully that nowadays we've kind of outsourced the building bit. Like we've
also outsourced the food bit.
Absolutely,
we've outsourced the food bit, but the building bit, I think today is what I'd love to focus on, because, and this is something we've come around to in the last couple of years, that just something coming inside of us, this need to kind of go, well, I want to learn. I don't want to be a useless person that can't fix the feckin' when there's a leak, or when there's something like this kind of deep-seated desire to understand how things work, and building, because it's baked into our basic DNA. Like I really think it is this,
like it's something.
Shelter, create shelter for my family, you know, be able to look after my family.
I've wanted to start a school for many years. It'll be a few decades now, really, that I've always dreamt of starting a school. And one of the cores of it was that construction was a huge part of it, that it was an active process.
Yeah, and that the things that we learn are actually useful to us even immediately, not necessarily in 20 years when we finally
go, pi, that thing career. Pi was really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. But we put it into practice right away. You know, and we can separate building as one thing, and we'll talk about it mostly today. But I think it's wrong to like not mention the food and not mention the other things that we outsourced. And, you know, you two have been such a driving force in people becoming more connected to their food again in Ireland, and understanding it and having empathy for that food, and where it came from and its journey and what it takes to create it and grow it and all of that. You know, that knowledge and talking about it is what brings it back into our daily life. And the fact that most people don't even know enough terminology to be able to walk into a hardware store or to like confidently have a discussion with someone who might be building their house for them. You know, just that lack of terminology comes from us removing it from our life completely. That over the past few generations, we've lost the words, we've lost the language in a general sense for most of us. As people became more specialized, we made building seem really hard and really, really only for the people who were devoting their whole life to it. And I think that specialization of things that are kind of our basic human needs of survival can be really damaging for everyone else, because the more specialized it becomes, the further away it feels for us to be able to reach it. And so I think the language and the way that we talk about it, and, you know, again, like what the Happy Pear has created and the way it makes people talk and think and consider and tell each other about food and give each other ideas and share recipes, that exact model could be applied to building and to everything we do. If I've got something going wrong with my house and I know that you have a kind of similar house, that I can ask you how you fixed it, and you might actually have an answer because you did the work. Your answer won't be, I paid someone else who came and fixed it. Your answer would be, I dealt with it.
Nowadays, when so many people, you know, everyone included, can at times feel very disconnected, disenfranchised, kind of malaise, like this kind of bit apathetic. Like, I think it's a beautiful reminder that the simple things in life can often bring the most joy. And that's not saying they're easy. You know, building your own house or even fixing some aspect of your own home is challenging, but it can be, like, I know myself, and maybe it's the archetype male role. When I fix something, I'm nearly standing there with my wife going, look, I'm such a man. You know, I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, but everyone has that feeling. And that feeling is that's part of our evolution. That's how we got here. We solved problems. We're so good at solving problems. We're like totally designed to do it. And when you solve a problem that you have, you feel amazing. You feel successful, and it encourages you to try and solve the next problem and the next problem. And that leads us to doing really amazing stuff. And so as we keep kind of losing our agency to even be able to solve our own problems, we start losing that sense of satisfaction we get when we do it. And we start looking for it somewhere else. We start looking for it in Netflix or in buying furniture or replacing a rug because it's not the rug we like anymore. We think it's going to do the thing. We think painting a different color on the wall is going to give us that satisfaction, but it's not, because you're not hitting that problem solving thing, that little nick in you that needs to be kind of satisfied. And it's totally addictive. You know, you start solving your own problems, you start fixing things around your house. You learn how to install a shelf, and suddenly, like, you're going to have shelves all over your house. You're going to be putting shelves where you don't need them. So you really quickly
I can hang shelves.
Exactly. You need to learn a new skill, because otherwise you're just going to keep hanging shelves everywhere to try and get the hit of being able to do it.